Russian President Vladimir Putin met with Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed ahead of the Russia-Africa Summit in St. Petersburg. The two-day summit aims to strengthen ties with the continent's 1.3 billion people, despite Western pressure causing a decrease in attendance from 43 to 17 African heads of state. Putin pledged to triple the number of Ethiopian students hosted in Russia and cover their education costs. During the summit, Africa's largest voting bloc at the United Nations, divisions on resolutions condemning Russia's actions in Ukraine will be addressed. Amid global concerns about food security, Russia withdrew from a Black Sea exports deal, leading to missile attacks on Ukrainian ports and agriculture facilities. In response, Putin offered free grain to low-income African countries and assured the replacement of Ukrainian grain exports. Another critical issue to be discussed is the fate of Russia's Wagner military company, known for its involvement in African countries in exchange for natural resources. African leaders will also pursue a peace proposal for Ukraine during the summit, aiming to create conducive conditions for a path to peace between Russia and Ukraine. In a significant constitutional change, Mali has dropped French as its official language, a status it held since gaining independence in 1960. Under the new constitution, passed with an overwhelming 96.91% vote in a June 18 referendum, French will still be the working language, but 13 other national languages spoken in the country, including Bambara, Bobo, Dogon, and Minyanka, will now receive official language status. The move marks the beginning of the Fourth Republic in Mali, as the military junta leader, Colonel Assimi Goïta, puts the new constitution into effect. Mali's military, which took power in an August 2020 coup, sees the new constitution as critical to the country's rebuilding efforts after witnessing two subsequent coups in recent years, one in August 2020 and another in May 2021. While the junta initially promised elections for February 2022, they have been delayed to February 2024. Mali's decision to drop French as the official language also reflects a growing anti-France sentiment across West Africa, as many perceive France's military and political interference in the region negatively. This change signals a shift towards recognizing and preserving the rich linguistic diversity within Mali, with multiple national languages now gaining official recognition. African leaders have arrived in Russia for the two-day Russia-Africa Summit in St. Petersburg, where President Vladimir Putin aims to strengthen ties with the continent's 1.3 billion people, who are increasingly assertive on the global stage. However, the number of heads of state attending the summit has reduced to 17 due to Western pressure aimed at discouraging African nations from participating. During the summit, Putin held talks with Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, announcing Russia's plan to triple the number of Ethiopian students hosted and cover their education costs. Ethiopia's government faces pressure from the U.S. and the World Food Program, who suspended food aid after discovering massive theft. Hunger is on the rise in areas like the Tigray region, recovering from 2 years of conflict. Amidst the ongoing fighting in Ukraine, the Kremlin seeks more allies and discusses crucial issues such as the fate of Russia's Wagner military company and a peace proposal for Ukraine. African leaders, representing the largest voting bloc at the UN, will continue talks with Putin on confidence-building measures for peace. Nigeria's suspended central bank governor, Godwin Emefiele, appeared in court in Lagos, facing charges of illegal possession of a firearm and live ammunition. He was suspended by Nigeria's new president, Bola Tinubu, and subsequently detained by the Department of State Services, DSS, the country's secret police. Despite objections from the Attorney General's office, Justice Nicholas Owebo of the Federal High Court granted Emefiele bail on Tuesday. The case has been adjourned until November, when Emefiele's trial will begin. However, confusion arose over his custody, with dramatic scenes unfolding between the DSS and prison officers from the Nigeria Correctional Center, eventually resulting in the DSS taking charge and rearresting the once powerful CBN governor. Emefiele's fortunes changed dramatically after President Tinubu's election, as he faced accusations of terrorism financing and economic crimes by the DSS last year. Removed from his role and arrested on June 10, he has been in detention ever since. Emefiele's brother, George, expressed sadness over the situation, labeling him a giant of Africa and highlighting the challenges in a democratic nation like Nigeria, known for its people of integrity. The National Association of Resident Doctors, NARD, in Nigeria has declared an indefinite nationwide strike, set to begin on Wednesday, July 26th. NARD President Emeka Orji announced the decision after the association's National Executive Council meeting in Lagos, expressing the doctors' frustration with the government's failure to meet their demands. Less than 48 hours earlier, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajudeen Abbas, had pleaded with the doctors for understanding and assured them of the new administration's commitment to addressing their concerns. However, the doctors decided to proceed with the strike due to the government's reported failure to fulfill agreements, including the implementation and payment of new hazard allowances and arrears. This indefinite strike follows a previous 5-day warning strike conducted by the doctors on May 17th, which was also initiated over unmet demands. The situation highlights the ongoing challenges in Nigeria's healthcare system, with the doctors now taking a firm stance to bring attention to their issues and seek resolution. Ghana's parliament voted on Tuesday to abolish the death penalty, joining several African nations in recent years that have moved to repeal capital punishment. While no executions have taken place in Ghana since 1993, there were 176 people on death row as of last year, according to the Ghana Prison Service. The new bill, which substitutes life imprisonment for the death penalty, amends the state's Criminal Offences Act, pending the assent of President Nana Akufo-Addo to take effect. Ghana becomes the 29th country in Africa and the 124th globally to abolish the death penalty, marking a significant advancement in the country's human rights record. The move reflects the will of the majority of Ghanaians, as opinion polls and research conducted by Parliamentary Committee and Constitutional Review have indicated a desire to remove the death penalty. The Death Penalty Project, a London-based NGO, worked alongside partners in Ghana to facilitate this change in the law. Ghana joins other African states like Equatorial Guinea, Sierra Leone, Central African Republic, and Zambia, who have also recently ended capital punishment. Top national security officials from South Africa, China, Russia, India, and Brazil convened in Johannesburg for the 13th BRICS National Security Advisors meeting. They discussed their common BRICS agenda and cooperation on security-related matters, addressing global security concerns and fostering economic collaboration. China's top diplomat, Wang Yi, emphasized the significance of BRICS as a platform for emerging markets and developing countries to unite and strengthen themselves. In addition to the BRICS meeting, Minister Khumbudzo Ntshavheni hosted a Friends of BRICS National Security Advisors meeting, including countries like Belarus, Burundi, Cuba, and Egypt, among others. These countries have expressed interest in joining BRICS and play a significant role in the Global South. Discussions centered on reinforcing cooperation within the BRICS framework and the United Nations multilateral system to address challenges such as counterterrorism, transnational crimes, and cybersecurity. The meetings precede the upcoming 15th BRICS Summit scheduled for August in Johannesburg, where the 5 nations will further advance their strategic cooperation and address critical issues affecting their countries and the world at large. Mutinous soldiers in Niger claim to have overthrown the country's democratically elected president, Mohamed Bazoum, citing the deteriorating security situation. The soldiers announced the suspension of all institutions and urged external partners not to interfere. The situation escalated as members of Niger's Presidential Guard surrounded the presidential palace, detaining President Bazoum, leading to uncertainty and concern for the nation's stability. Calling themselves the National Council for the Safeguarding of the Country, the group expressed commitment to engaging with the international and national community. The African Union and the Economic Community of West African States condemned the attempted coup, emphasizing their support for the democratically elected government. However, the situation remains tense, and it's uncertain whether the mutiny is supported by other parts of the military. As the situation unfolds, the international community closely watches developments in Niger and strongly condemns any attempts to undermine democratic institutions and seize power unlawfully. Stay tuned for further updates on this developing situation. In a heartwarming initiative, the Welcome 66 Association in Canet-en-Roussillon, southern France, is providing swimming lessons at sea to refugees and asylum seekers, helping them overcome their fear of water after difficult sea crossings and traumas. One migrant, Mohamed from Mauritania, expressed his progress and newfound confidence in swimming thanks to the guidance of lifeguard Delphine Bassels, who runs the classes. Delphine is thrilled to witness the remarkable development in these young learners as they transform from having a phobia of water to enjoying their time in the waves. The sessions not only teach swimming skills but also serve as lessons in courage, determination, and resilience. Delphine believes that learning to swim as an adult can be challenging but finds joy in seeing the progress made by these brave individuals who have endured so much. The initiative comes in response to the dangers migrants face during sea crossings, with thousands losing their lives each year, leaving psychological impacts on survivors. The Welcome 66 Association's efforts provide hope and healing, empowering migrants to reconcile with the water and embark on a new chapter in their lives. Through these swimming lessons, the association aims to build strength and unity among refugees and asylum seekers, giving them a chance to overcome their fears and enjoy the water in a safe and supportive environment. As the migrants take their first steps in the sea, they are not only learning a valuable skill but also finding solace and empowerment amidst their challenging journeys. In a briefing to the UN Security Council, Leonardo Santos Simão, the head of the United Nations Office for West Africa and the Sahel, highlighted the complexity of the crisis in the Sahel region. He emphasized the need for concrete, realistic, and long-term support from both the region and the international community to achieve lasting peace. With 6.3 million people displaced across the Sahel, preserving the dignity of refugees and ensuring the security of host countries is a crucial priority. Omar Al-Touré, president of the Economic Community of West African States, also addressed the Security Council, seeking support for pressing issues in the region. He urged assistance in combating food insecurity, with 30 million people in need of food aid, a number that could rise to 42 million by the end of the next month without adequate support. Additionally, Touré called for help in facilitating a transition to constitutional order in 3 countries currently under military rule. As the Sahel faces numerous challenges, including conflict and food crises, the international community's collective efforts are vital to address the humanitarian needs and work towards sustainable solutions. Supporting the region with tangible aid and fostering a stable transition to constitutional governance will play a significant role in bringing stability and security to the Sahel.